Welcome back to the channel, Music. Admirers, please take a seat, inhale deeply, and prepare for music. It is nothing less than an earthquake, given what we recently seen in the California desert. Without a doubt, there has been an earthquake in the tennis world. The shock has reverberated from the sun-drenched arenas of Indian Wells to the steppes of Kazakhstan and the congested streets of Manila. If you thought you understood how the BNP Paribas, this was the year when the Bali Open was meant to take place. You were totally wrong if the screenplay appeared to have been crafted for the top seeds earlier, Music. In recent Women's Tennis Association history, we witnessed one of the most massive, amazing, and illogical happenings. Music, speaking the words out still sounds unbelievable, even if the title of today's video says it all. Music, Kazakhstan is utterly shocked. Elena Rybakina, the seemingly unassailable Indian Wells champion in 2023, is ranked third in the globe. Music, the woman who won the Australian Open to start the year, has been eliminated. And it wasn't just a former Grand or a fellow top 10 veteran slam champion making a comeback who attacked her. The 20-year-old Filipina outperformed Alexander Eala, she dismantled, and Music endured. Take a moment to process it. Music, the rising talent Alexander Eala, who recently reached the 31st spot in the worldwide music rankings. Despite consistently making notable improvement over the journey, this participant was nevertheless seen as a huge underdog compared to the basic firepower. The unthinkable has just been accomplished by Rybakina. This was not anticipated to happen. It was not anticipated by the oddsmakers, Music. It was ignored by the commentators in the commentary booths. I'm not sure if anyone at Elena Rybakina's camp saw this, but I surely didn't expect it. There will soon be a hurricane. Rybakina arrived in California with a form that intimidates opponents even before they step onto the court. We are talking about a player who wasn't just chasing the beat. Music, she was defining it. Her service has been a lethal weapon, a rocket that has saved her and cannot be taken back from whatever challenges she may face. Her most recent victory in Melbourne cemented her status as the ultimate gold at the current level of women's tennis, and her level-piercing strokes are expressly made to dictate play. Music, she was the clear favorite, along with Sway 8 and Sabalenka. She might be a movable thing. Music, but suddenly the barren and motionless object faced an irrepressible willpower beneath the obvious offspring of tennis paradise. Eala Alexander entered that court with a cool, collected portrayal of a seasoned killer rather than with any distinction as a young competitor. Music, we've been keeping an eye on things for years. ISA's slow ascent. We saw her. The younger generations, music genius. We saw her. She makes her way through the ITF circuit by grinding. Last year, we witnessed her incredible run in the Miami, where she took out the giants. It was open. A few weeks prior to the battle, we witnessed her incredible gritty Middle Eastern performances, alerting the world community in Dubai and returning from Abu's unbeatable defeats. We knew she was good. Music, we knew she had a heart. She has now transformed from a possible possibility to a real gigantic killer though, thanks to this performance. Music, at number 3 in the globe, there is a credible candidate who can see across the internet and avoid blinking. The contest's reaction to this has been swift and intense. The media is in complete amazement in Kazakhstan, a nation whose sporting identity has been based on Rybakina's stoic mastery. Headlines are already speculating about a disaster, speculating on what went wrong in the desert, and analyzing every missed first serve and odd forehand error. Rybakina, a national hero, represents Kazakhstan's exceptional athletic prowess. It's difficult to watch her go this early for a competitor who isn't in the top 30. The forums are disintegrating. The analysts are perplexed. How a guy who may have the finest serve in the match is lost in the women's game. On the other hand, the Philippines' ecstatic eruption is evident on a hard surface. For her country, Eala is more than just a tennis player. She is an inspiration to the music nation, a trailblazer, and a significant source of pride. Every time she walks onto the court, she carries the weight of the millions of Filipinos who get up at crazy hours to watch her games live. She gave them a piece of art today. She gave them a performance that will be talked about for a long time. The tactical, the resilient, the mud, and music. She countered Rybakina's power by using her wits. It was extremely well known. This victory was not the result of good fortune. This Rybakina, music, didn't just turn it in. Throughout the game, there were 2 mistakes. Isa went outside and picked it up. She noticed the pace. Music, she extended the rallies. She forced Rybakina to hit 2 more music balls, 3 more balls, and so on until she became enraged and made mistakes. You should understand the history of the BNP Paribas in order to truly appreciate the intensity of this pain. It's an open ball. There is a reason Indian Wells is known as the 5th Grand Slam music, but the conditions are notoriously difficult, the competition is deep, and the stakes are great. The weather is dry. Music, the court surface is slow and rough, but the sphere flies to the atmosphere of the desert. It raises the bounce. It requires steady power. Without a great deal of control and tactical nuance, you can't just blast your way past your music opponents. Music, Rybakina's game, which is centered around flat, powerful smashes and usually early ball striking, thrives when she exudes confidence in her ability to overcome difficult situations and arrives with such assurance. But Ella deftly utilized the very conditions that work against her. Music, an early insight. The court would blast her away if she tried to match Rybakina's strength. She turned the competition into a mental and physical marathon. She utilized the high and slow bouncing courts. Advantage, music, deep looping hard top spin into the corners, pushing Rybakina out of the way so she can't enter the baseline and make her own choices. Music, expressions. This game provided a great illustration of disruption. Music, it demonstrated that tennis could be played in a boisterous manner. It's done between the ears. It's a psychological warfare game where subtle, undetectable shifts in the speed of music alter the outcome of a battle. Isla looked at the top of the mountain Elena Rybakina, which had devastated many other people this season music, and she methodically dismantled it rock by rock. She proved that sheer unyielding spirit can triumph against absolute power, defense, speed to the globe, and flexibility in tactics and music. This is what makes our sport so beautiful. We keep an eye on music, because every Sunday, or in this case, a beautiful afternoon in the script may be torn from California to a new star, and fragments may boldly and memorably write their own history. Then, what exactly did she do? How was the current Australian Open monarch overthrown by a 20-year-old from Manilab? Now let's examine this ultimate tennis match classic in more detail. Strategy by strategy, game by music game, and set by set. We have to start by assessing the atmosphere before a single ball is even hit. The stadium was packed and buzzing with the unique force of Indian Wells. Music, the sun was beating down on you. The court was gradually becoming darker, and the assemblage was clearly divided. Music, on the one hand, tennis purists were looking forward to a clinical, straightforward master class from the world's third-ranked player. On the other hand, an environment similar to the Davis Cup for a second-round WTA competition was created by a very vocal, passionate group of waving, yelling Filipino supporters brandishing an electric flag. Music, Ella thrives on this. Vitality. She listens to the music. You can see it in her eyes when she tosses the coin. But Rybakina was still as cold as ever. Manner appeared a little disinterested in what was happening. A look that frequently portends catastrophe for her competitors. Isa was perched on her toes, attentive, focused, and bouncing. As predicted by the forecasts, the opening set began just as planned. Whole explosives were provided by Rybakina. Music first serves are frequently clocked in and hit the bends with a high degree of accuracy. Music, Ella barely made it through the first 2. She had her racket on the ball. Games of service. Rybakina continued to express devotion in less than 90 seconds. Finish her games with ease. When Elena Rybakina was 3 years old, she was served with her feet inside the baseline to grab the early second serve, which later reappeared as a complete smash. Music, Rybakina had received a double break and was pursuing love in an instant. It appeared to be an approaching massacre to snorts, anyone who could see it. Ella appeared to be genuinely shocked by the incident and the heavy weight of Rybakina's shot. Rybakina's possible opponent in the upcoming round was already being discussed by the commentators. But music is where we have to talk about Alexandra Ella's mental fortitude. A younger player with less experience or talent might have folded all the way. Instead of logging down 4 times, they would have rejected the set, accepted the bagel, and sought to reunite in the second. She didn't panic. She didn't start hitting too hard. Instead, she took a deep breath, looked at her player's box, nodded, and began working. Her point of return started to change significantly. Ella gave herself an extra chance to read the trajectory for a moment and simply return the ball to play instead of trying to hold the baseline against Rybakina's first serve by stepping far back, practically into the California desert scrub. Hitting a winner on a clean return wasn't the goal. It was merely communicating the notion, and as soon as the point started, there was a superb tactical shift. It dawned on her that Rybakina is a speed freak. Rybakina serves food on hard, flat, music balls. She changes her own awful picks by taking advantage of the opponent's quickness. Isa Music stopped giving her speed. On the slow surface of an Indian well, she started hitting strong, looping top spin balls that bounce high deep inside the middle of the court. He elevated Music with these spheres from Rybakina's ideal striking zone. Rihanna started to appear uncomfortable as she was forced to generate all of her own speed off of high balls. Her flawless timing from the first 4 games began to falter. She started spraying her forehands for a long time. She scored backhands. After holding on to her own serve, Isa was able to break returning with hard, laborious baseline rallies that made it 4-2. In the end, Music Rybakina won the first set 6-3. However, it was obvious that the momentum had shifted. Isa had drawn blood. She had demonstrated her capacity for tenacity. The exhibits. Music, she had sowed the 3rd seed of uncertainty in the world. That questionable seed turned into a total disaster for the Kazakh celebrity as we move on to the second set. Isa emerged with great vigor. She had fully unlocked Rybakina's beat. Isa's footwork in this set was intriguing and superb. Even before Rybakina touched the ball, she was covering the court in anticipation of her aggressive future. Isa began employing the drop shot with appalling effectiveness. Rybakina Music is a tall, powerful female performer, but she still has a long way to go.